Each day, 20,000 people die because of poverty. That's 80 billion people every year. 70% of these people live in Africa. Poverty is arguably the world's biggest crisis. Even with huge amounts of money, technology, and resources we have, we are yet to make a dent in it. Governments, businesses, and organizations have spent enormous amounts of energy, time, and money. Individuals have devoted their lives to solving this world crisis. Yet extreme poverty still remains so prevalent. The West has spent $2.3 trillion on foreign aid in the past 50 years. That's $16 per person in the Western world. Even with $50 billion spent on Africa in aid every year, the number of poor people has doubled over the last decade. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is one country who remains in extreme poverty despite the huge amounts of assistance it receives from other countries. The Congo was the 12th largest recipient of aid in 2011, receiving $2.3 billion, the equivalent to 52% of its income. Even with the huge amounts of aid the Congo receives, it remains tied for last on the Human Development Index. The Human Development Index is a system used by the UN to show the development potential in countries. It averages life expectancy at birth, mean years of schooling, expected years of schooling, and gross national income per capita. The Congo remains 187th out of 187. We have been receiving aid permanently, and the statistics today indicate that we are becoming poorer, states Congolese government official Anatole Colinet Masco. 71% of the population lives on less than $1 a day. 1/3 of the children under 5 suffer from malnutrition, and the life expectancy at birth is only 53 years of age, a full 25 years less than the life expectancy in the US. These statistics remain shocking to me. I don't understand how a country receiving so much aid could remain in such dire poverty. Based on my findings, war has been the #1 factor in fueling the Congo's poverty. Since the Congo's independence, the country has been in constant conflict. The latest civil war, which started in 1996, has killed 5.4 million people. This is the world's deadliest conflict since World War II, yet it receives so little press. The wars in the country have claimed nearly the same number of lives as having 9/11 every single day for 360 days. The exact reason for conflict in the Congo remains unclear. The Rwandan genocide has affected the Congo. In the east, many of the Hutus have fled from Rwanda. Rwanda, Uganda, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Angola, and the Congo have all been involved. It is considered to be Africa's deadliest war. It has both an economic and a political side. Resources and mineral wealth have fueled much of the fighting over the land. For 2 decades, armed Congolese people have been fighting over land in the Congo. Millions have died, most from starvation and disease, which has been brought on by relentless conflict and harsh conditions. The M23 rebel group has been fighting against the government. The government blames the rebel groups for violence. They talk about the relentless attacks and killings they lead. M23 claims the government is denying them of basic human rights. M23 consists of mostly Tutsis. The government consists of primarily Hutus. These groups were created by the Belgian colonists and have caused relentless war and fighting even after the Congo's independence. M23 is blamed of child soldier recruitments, mass executions, and sexual violence. The Congo was cited as the rape capital of the world by a UN official, with more than 200,000 women and girls being subjected to sexual violence. Currently, there are 17,000 UN peacekeepers in the Congo, the largest employment in the world. The huge amount of money being dumped into weapons and war machinery is usually from foreign aid. $163 million are spent annually in military expenditures in the Congo. The constant conflict does not create a stable environment for the country's economy to develop. The already existing poverty in the Congo is further exacerbated by the constant violence. An estimated 1 million Congolese have had to leave their homes due to the current war. Bombs have been dropped, destroying entire towns and cities. The next reason the Congo remains so poor despite foreign aid is the corrupt government. The Congo's unstable government makes it very difficult for the aid received to be effectively distributed and used. Corrupt and incompetent government officials squander much of the aid received. The government presents no force of unity throughout the country and therefore has very little power over the people. They rarely distribute the money to where it is needed most and put it to good use. The lack of good transportation presents another obstacle. Mobutu, the dictator who ruled what was then the Zaire for more than 30 years, robbed the country blind. He spent most of his time increasing his personal fortune, which in 1984 was estimated at $5 billion, which he put into Swiss banks. Meanwhile, 75% of the population was in extreme poverty. Under his reign, the country experienced only inflation, budget deficits, and public debt. Even after Mobutu's reign, the country had continued its travel in political and economic instability. Healthcare is virtually non-existent, along with many other basic public services typically provided by the government. Essentially, the government in the Congo is corrupt because of the awful state the Belgian government left the country in after granting them independence. Then, Mobutu, a US-appointed dictator, sent the government further into corruption. Now today, when we send aid to the Congo, it goes into the hands of the government, which is not able to effectively better the country with it because it is so corrupt. The Congo has an estimated $25 trillion worth of natural resources hidden within its soils, yet remains one of the poorest countries in the world. There are many reasons behind this, including the exploitation of resources by outside countries, including Belgium. Instead of bringing the country out of poverty, as the many resources should, they have helped to drag the country further into poverty, leading to war and conflict. The Democratic Republic of the Congo was ranked 172nd in economic freedom out of 175 countries evaluated. The inability for entrepreneurship and lack of businesses to effectively collect, distribute, and sell the resources is another reason why the Congo is unable to effectively use their surplus of valuable resources. The Congo has given the world so much. It has given slaves, ivory, rubber, copper, uranium, diamonds, tin, cobalt, coltan to develop the Western world, yet receives nothing in return. It contains 2/3 of the world's remaining rainforest and vast mineral wealth, including cobalt, copper, cadmium, petroleum, diamonds, gold, silver, zinc, magnesium, tin, germanium, uranium, radium, peroxide, iron ore, and coal. Additionally, it contains 80% of the world's coltan, which is used in all cell phones. This adds up to an estimated $24 trillion in mineral resources. Aid from other countries expected to help start businesses to help them utilize these resources, but instead it is unproductively consumed by government officials in ineffective areas that do not generate profit. The Congo's poverty is almost unimaginable to most of us living in the US. The US government spends an average of $3,268 on healthcare per person. The Congolese government spends an average of $2 per person. 1,000 people die every day due to poverty in the Congo alone. 45,000 people die per month. That's more than the number of women who die from breast cancer in the US per year. Seeing and hearing about this extreme poverty, we feel obligated to help, but it's frustrating to see the billions of dollars of aid sent do so little to send the country. Where this money goes and why we don't see the effects of it seems like a mystery to some, but based on my research, I've concluded that the relentless war and conflict, the corrupt government, and the inability to utilize resources are the reasons behind it. Thank you for watching.